Thank you. I'm going to talk about the upcoming acquisitions that we have. We will either be going out full and open, and that will be for the larger projects that we have coming up, or some will be doing limited competition on the AED-N program. Each of these will either go out as lowest price technically acceptable, and it's important for all of you to understand what that means, because I've had a lot of companies, a lot of representatives from the Afghan companies come up and talk to me about they knew that they were technically acceptable and why didn't they get the award. The thing is, in government contracting in the U.S. and over here also, I still have to follow the FAR and all the rules in the FAR. And if your request for proposal has a shall or a must statement in it, you need to make sure that you demonstrate to us how you can meet that shall or must in your proposal. Even though you may know you can, if you don't show us in the proposal how you're going to do that, we, the Source Selection and Evaluation Board, can't give you credit for that. So it's very important that you look carefully at your request for proposal and make sure that you cover all the shalls and musts. And if it says you shall provide A, you can't just say I shall provide A. You have to tell me how you're going to provide that, okay? And make sure that you demonstrate how you're going to provide that shall or must that was requested in the request for proposal. And although we reserve the right to enter into negotiations, we don't intend to do that if we can possibly not do that, because time is of essence in this country especially. We are trying very hard to get as many awards made as possible, to get as many projects awarded so that we can get them started and get them completed in the time required for us to leave Afghanistan. So it's very important that you give me the lowest price possible on an LPTA, because in all likelihood, if I have companies that are technically acceptable and the price that they give me is within a certain percentage of the independent government estimate, then I'm not going to enter into negotiations. I'm going to make the award, because that is the quickest way for me to get that project on contract and started. The other acquisition strategy that we're going to use is best value acquisitions. And we will be using those on the more complicated buildings, on the buildings that maybe require a little bit more design, things that aren't as simple as some of the buildings that we've already done over and over again. It's still important that you cover the shalls and the must statements in the RFP. It's very important. Because if you don't cover those, you won't be technically acceptable. But you also have to, in a best value acquisition, and it should state up front in the request for proposal what acquisition strategy is going to be used to evaluate your proposal. It's very important that you show how your proposal is better. I would suggest that you remember that there is a focus trying to get things completed, and so schedule might be a way that you can show that your proposal is better, and you still need to give us your best price, because we have so much competition here in Afghanistan that it's rare that we have to go into negotiations, because we usually have multiple companies whose proposals are technically acceptable and they're within the acceptable percentage of the IGE, the Independent Government Estimate. Once again, I'm going to state there's a heavy focus within our government, and I think they're coordinating with our customer and with the Afghanistan government on completing the projects that can be completed and getting the ones that haven't been awarded by March next year. I know that my upper management and the upper leaders in the Afghanistan government and in our funding organizations are looking at projects that cannot be completed and they're looking at those for termination. So if you currently have projects, construction projects with the Corps of Engineers, and you're way far behind schedule, it would be better for you to get assistance from other Afghan nations, from outside Afghanistan if you need to, but to try to complete those projects and to get them back on schedule, because they are currently looking at what is moving forward and what can we not get to move forward. The things that aren't moving forward, they're looking at those to say, is this really something that the Afghanistan government needs? Is this a necessary project, or can we cancel it? Okay. We've done a lot of the easier projects that are in high, like on the bases, where there's not a problem with security, or they're in Kabul, where it's easier to get to. What remains are some projects that are further out. The roads getting to them will be more difficult, if they exist at all. The security may be difficult. And we will be looking at all of those things. Have we got the real estate? Is there transportation? Is the funding adequate? Is the security adequate? If those things are not adequate, those are the projects that will be canceling prior to awarding them. Our upcoming construction awards for FY12 are listed there. I really thought 2 months ago that I would tell you that we were cutting the program probably as much as half, but it doesn't appear that that's happening right now. It looks like the FY12 program that they proposed back in the beginning of FY12 is pretty much what it is, except for those projects that we cannot get the security, real estate, transportation, or funding for. And in FY13, I'm seeing an increase in projects, especially in the A&A program. But they're expecting all awards to be completed by March. So I've taken a whole year's worth of program, they've doubled it and put it in the first half of the year. So we're going to be very busy in the first part of FY13. And we're expecting to get all the construction, or as much as possible, completed by December of 2014.